Modern high-rise buildings appear in almost all of the main cities of the countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council, witnessing the progressive culture that signals the booming style of life that has touched almost every aspect of human activity in Oman: family life, social, educational, health, political, and entertainment. Next to these high-rise buildings are tall and slim palm trees holding within their enduring and rough texture the sweet memories of bygone times. Palm trees have a special place in the hearts and minds of the natives of Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and all other cities and provinces of the United Arab Emirates. There is a special relationship that have been growing stronger every day for thousands of years. What could there be inside the mind of this desert dweller who lives in an environment that is engulfed in sands? In the midst of those sand dunes and plain landscapes, seeing a tree, any tree, would mean an oasis that invites travelers and wanderers to rest and to cool off the heat under its lofty shade. Here beneath the shade, under the scorching sun and the ruthless heat, thirst becomes a matter of life and death, a need for water and for a shady and cool place to rest. Here at the province of the Swayhan Desert, at the United Arab Emirates, palm trees have been transforming the desert into a lush green haven, which have worked steadfastly to curb desertification and continue to provide the natives with these delicious and nutritious golden dates, growing most freely in this clean and fresh air of the desert. The land rises slightly at the outskirts of the desert. This is the ideal place for planting trees that can cope with dry and hot summers, let alone cold winters of the desert. At the Al Ain, or the overflowing springs, water resources are used predominantly for watering plantations, especially palm trees, which amazingly copes with climatic changes peculiar to this region. Palm trees grow ideally in hot temperatures with low humidity in the summer. Together with other kinds of vegetation, palm trees have largely helped to enrich the green landscapes of this region, hence cooling off the harshness of the desert climate. Rain at this Hofakans Dam is deposited to be used later for irrigation purposes of palm trees. Farmers rely on this scant resource of water that runs in rivulets feeding their plants whose life simply depends on it. Natives realize that trees appreciate whatever care is given to them to be able to grow, showing affection to its caregivers with signs of healthy growing, giving early crops while surviving challenging and harsh weather and rough topography and sharp climatic changes. Qatar gives a special attention to palm trees. It is revered as a holy tree with its austere looks and height that accentuate a majestic and aloof look rising above the mundane, while providing nutritious food to others in return for little or no care at all at times. Despite Qatar's salt-rich and limestone soil of arable land, there exists oases that allow for growing plants and vegetation. This is called Garn Farm, widely famous for its modernized methods that have transformed it into an ideal plantation where different types of palm trees grow. It is a simple thing to think that palm trees are all the same. Palm trees come in every shape, size and flavor. They differ considerably depending on the weather temperature and the humidity factor, which is vital for the process of cooking dates into ripeness. The color of dates vary from one tree to another. They are mostly dark brown, but there is also yellow, red and black dates that grow in different climates and conditions. And God the Almighty said in the Holy Quran, "And tall palm trees with paths compact, a provision for the servants." And God has said the truth. Since early morning and following the Fajr, dawn prayer, farmers start their morning chorus by trimming off the tree in order for the pod that remains to grow into more healthy and fatter produce. The trimming process takes off some layers off the outside surface of the tree, some branches or individual dates. This process using clipping off parts of the tree top while trimming several branches to allow more sunlight to reach the dates and help them get cooked and ripened. This is an early harvest. Branches are cut off but are not totally thrown away. They are kept in a stake here in this yard for being sorted out, where good ones are kept for being used later, as a result of the attention given by the government of Qatar. The number of palm trees has gone up from 100,000 in 1970 to around 500,000 trees at present time, which give an annual harvest of more than 30,000 tons of dates per year. Date processing and packaging plants are spread all over Arab countries, where a growing demand for dates grows every year. Processing and packaging is done here in Qatar, where the produce is initially cleaned using vapor water. The dates are then sorted out according to the size, color and ripeness, and of course the quality and flavor. The dates are then patted, dry mechanically and polished for a shiny look for marketing and retailing purposes to customers who cherish this fruit for its highly nutritious content and historical value. Palm trees stand here at Al Dammam, Saudi Arabia, foaming lines. Their long branches appear as fans that cool off the heat of the day along the coastline of the Arabian Gulf. Al Marjan Island has adopted a state-funded project where farmers have expanded in growing good quality product. It is no surprise that Arabs have loved this tree since ancient times, praised and revered it in their writing and poetry. These vast deserts stretch to the horizons of Saudi Arabian land, where rich and fertile oases adorn the golden plateaus, with palm trees standing as the cornerstone there. Saudi government has sponsored a major project to find desertification of the northern and the northeastern provinces. Palm trees were chosen as a fundamental factor for the success of this project because of its strong adaptive characteristics, allowing it to grow in the most difficult types of soil, needing a frequent sea breeze and humidity for feeding the dates in top fullness. This is Al-Ahsa province, known for its most famous oases that are rich with top quality dates with names such as Al-Ikhlas, Al-Irzaz and Ashishi. There are more than 400 kinds of dates that grow in Saudi Arabia alone. The variety depends on where the trees grow, considering that each province is famous for a different kind of product. In the eastern province, for example, there is Al-Ahsa and Al-Qatif. The middle province has Najd, Al-Qasim, and then there is the western province. Underground water is largely used for watering the trees. The area known as Jabal Gara in the Al-Ahsa province, for example, is famous for its lush and rich green plantations of palm trees and its large produce of dates. Palm trees not only wonderfully adorn the place, but it creates the landscape with these majestic trees, always serenely giving mystical air that engulfs the spirit and fills it up with warm and intimate feelings that we simply call nostalgia, or a longing for times gone by. This orchard of palm trees is almost ready to give out its early bunch of dates when the color changes, slowing into yellow. These rich palm trees orchards are sponsored by the private sector. They actually receive a special attention from the Saudi government, which supports projects such as these to help increase the number of palm trees with quality produce. These orchards are particularly special thanks to technological methods used for irrigation and landscaping. The finest dates in the world grow in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Date connoisseurs know them as Al-Maktubi, Al-Khudri, Al-Safri, Al-Birhi and Al-Ikhlas, and a whole lot others. In the middle zone of the Arabian Gulf, here at the Kingdom of Bahrain, palm trees grow almost everywhere, at the main squares of the capital city of Al-Manama, on main streets, in residential areas, wherever they can find a humid climate, slightly dry at times. The Arabian Gulf area is one of the largest areas in the world where palm trees grow in big numbers. Bahrain is the main grower of palm trees among Gulf Arab countries. Its islands and rich oases are proud of their palm trees that grow side by side with orchards of flower trees and fruit trees, giving the countryside this nostalgic and warm feeling that nourishes the spirit. Yellow dates, known as Rutab, are considered an indispensable product in the Gulf. You can tell a Rutab from its ripe brownish color, half and the other half hard yellow part. Rutab dates come in different shapes and sizes, depending on the location where it grows, like this one. This is how the farmer chooses the correct palm tree where he can get the good and ripe ratop, by touching and squeezing each and every individual date to sort out the ready one for eating and to leave the others behind. A tedious job perhaps for the less skilled, but for the knowledgeable hands and experienced eyes, this could be an enjoyable and fulfilling job for some. 700,000 palm trees are spread all over the Bahraini Islands. There are around 250,000 fruit-bearing trees, usually giving up to around 16,000 tons of dates every year. This is Al Arad ancient castle, carefully fenced with palm trees, keeping memories of times gone by. From here and across the sea, palm trees have spread over to surrounding areas with suitable climate. In fact, the Italian scientist O. Beccari once said that the original homeland of palm trees had always been the Arabian Gulf. Now that the day has gone and the night is coming on, there is a special beauty that would engulf this place, rendering it more cooler and more romantic, accentuating feelings of melancholic nostalgia that reach out to ancient times where the cycle of life has been repeated for thousands of years, only to tell the ancient bond that exists between the earth and its never-ending history. Kuwait might be one of the most challenging desert climates and the most dry among its neighbors of the Gulf region. However, the people of Kuwait has always taken good care of this tree that they specially revere and warmly cherish. The deeper you get inside the land of Kuwait, the more you are pushed out by the harshness of its desert surrounding the vast sandy lands all year round. When the sandstormy season begins, the desert looks as if its surface is lined up with thousands of pipes blowing steam through thousands of holes, hence breathing sound all over the surface. This sound is only echoing the spirit of silent sounds. In the midst of it all, the scene of a tree is truly a divine gift to the natives and dwellers of this land. Where water collects, these miniature lakes look like water springs. Birds bathe, stretching their wings and soaking any drop of water they can get their feathers on. Known for its exponentially high temperature during the summer and the scarcity of rainy seasons, Kuwait has resorted to underground water, which runs into rivulets which water thick greeneries at the Jahra area, where fruit and vegetable trees grow side by side with palm trees. In 1970, Kuwait had 30,000 palm trees. This number grew to more than 100,000 palm trees in 1995. Kuwait most recently has taken up this plan to grow 250,000 more palm trees for meeting demands and a growing local consumption of dates. The locals have also been encouraged to grow palm trees in their own back and front yards. Palm trees have helped the government's plan to establish a green fence around the inhabited areas as a way to control sandstorms and desertification. It is a common scene in Kuwait to see the locals in a crowd overbuying dates at the local market, mostly Al-Ikhlas, Al-Birhi and Al-Maktoum, which are all grown in farms and ranches in Kuwait. At the southern end of the Arabian Gulf lies Masqat, the gateway to the Arab Sea and the Indian Ocean. It stretches here at the feet of its mountains, as if coming out from an ancient time long forgotten. Main squares and streets are all adorned with overwhelming monuments. Green surfaces stretch along its concrete sideworks that are decorated with adorable trees. In daytime, the scene of domes with their particular details and main squares adorned with fountains with palm trees growing all around. Palm trees stand tall in Oman, giving a glimpse of paradise that connect the warmth of the sun and the coolness of the mountains and fill their orchards in eternal beauty. It is daytime. The sunlight slides onto the water, blending colors, eternal colors together. Reflections of images and pictures glisten like gemstones, giving one this moment to think over this enchanting imagery, this divine imagery whispering in our ear, I am God's creation. Here at Oman, we are introduced to one of the most ancient irrigation systems in the region, the canal system known as Al-Aflaj, where water runs from far locations and from underground valleys to where the inhabitants gather at their farming locations. Before 1970, Oman had 2 million palm trees spread on 16,000 acres. At present, Oman has more than 8 million palm trees. Most famous among them are Al-Ikhlas, Al-Hilali, Al-Fard, Al-Ikhsar and Boraninja. Over the past 30 years, Oman has given its special attention to this natural resource and focused largely on its development. This is the Palm Tree Castle. It was named after its rich orchards of palm trees that surround each and every corner, with its bright gates and adorned windows overlooking this awesome scene, where lives the memory of ancient times, resonating between the top of the hills and the peaks of these astounding mountains. This is the moment when dusk paints the sky with shades of red and orange. We live the eternal reality about the time When this tree has formed a legacy on earth, it is the one that gives its identity, transcending the physical into a spiritual realm. It is our passport into the future.